What's up, everybody? It's your boy Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans. And guys, we're back with another episode of Cafecito Talks, and we're super excited to announce our guest. And it's just crazy how life works. It came full circle. We did an event together. I had Duarte's event, and we were just doing social media presentations. Caught a very good vibe, and super excited to announce the social media influencer Genesis herself, aka Donutmamii. And we're gonna dive a little bit deeper into just the whole social media realm. And we were kind of talking a little bit before this how it's a different realm that not a lot of people understand, but a lot of people want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So if you want to dive deeper into who you are, how did you get to where you are today, and just dive deeper into who you are as a person.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for having me. It's very interesting, the world of social media. As we met and we did that presentation, and I expressed a little bit about myself, but for those who don't know me, so I love food, and food blogging was something way back when that started in Instagram when Instagram first came on. I'm a little bit older, so obviously I've been there from the very beginning, of Instagram and stuff like that. And so for me, as a foodie, have always been, I always would capture these moments, on social media, and I would go out and whenever I would go out to a new restaurant, I would take pictures, because before it wasn't video, it was just pictures.
Right,
so
right.
I would do pictures, and then video started becoming a thing, so I would do pictures and video and things like that. And so I never really intended anything with this account. It was just a fun separate account that I would post, Obviously, it would have been cool, that idea, oh, maybe I could grow it, but I never really put a lot of effort into it. And so I kept on just doing this throughout the years. And one time, I was just and during COVID, the pandemic, obviously, restaurants closed, everything closed, right? And so for me, I was maybe I can, start doing something with content. Obviously, TikTok exploded too. So I was let me see if I can do something with this. And I was just well, I want to do more YouTube also. And so I did a series that was called Viva Chicago that really helped, promote these struggling businesses, primarily Latino-owned businesses. And so I did that. I did a series. I think I have more than 20 videos on there that I did helping businesses tell their story. For me, one of my biggest inspirations is Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Guy Fieri on the Food Network channel. So he's my inspiration. So I kind of wanted to mimic those episodes, like how he does it, where he goes, interviews the owner, and they're doing the food stuff. And so that's kind of something that I did. And then I would also transfer that kind of content to Instagram. And then slowly I got some momentum, but it wasn't a lot. But it was one day, this is how I guess I grew. One day I posted a video at this place. It was featured on Chicago Taco Chronicles on Netflix, and it was a taqueria in Little Village. And so I went, didn't think anything of it. I was just I'm just gonna go and capture it. It just came on Taco Chronicles yesterday, and so I was let me go and capture some content. I did a short 15-second video. Didn't even try to do anything with it. And then I posted it, and then overnight it got so much traction. In the morning, my niece texted me. She's like, "Did you see your video? It's blowing up." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then she's like, "Yeah, look." And then because I posted it on TikTok and on Instagram, my reel and my TikTok, and it just came through. All the engagement, and I was just wow, this is crazy. And people were asking for more. So I was just okay, maybe let me go to another place that Taco Chronicles feature. And so I did another video, and then I started gaining momentum. And it's one of those things where you have momentum, and so you have to take advantage of that momentum, because otherwise, your content is gonna spike and then it's just gonna fall flat,
Right.
So it's just how are you gonna take advantage of that moment, that momentum, that engagement that you already have. I got a lot of followers. I think I had 3,000 followers at the time, and then I made it to 10,000 followers in a matter of a week.
Holy
So
shit, yeah.
it was crazy. Yeah. So it was crazy, and that's really kind of what kind of drove me to continue doing content and really kind of making this kind of a full-time thing.
Right.
So yeah, it's been a lot since then.
A long journey.
I think that was 2022, of November when that happened. And so all of last year, 2023, I really dedicated content creation, building my business too, because aside of that, I have my own LLC. I work with businesses to do their social media marketing too.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
So yeah, so it's been a lot, but it is a lot to go back and answer everything. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a full-time job, and I feel like people don't understand that, and people maybe think, oh, it's just something fun, which it is, but it's also a job. I think now that you consider doing it full time, it's a lot.
And you grew relatively quick. I feel like you gave yourself credit because, I mean, 2022, about a year and a half, years some change, and you were able to grow and expand a page from 0 to, or however many followers, to 30,000. That's amazing in a short period of time. And one thing I want to show to people is exactly the journey that you went through is actually pretty straightforward. It's like you followed other individuals and you just got their ideas, but turned it into yourself, right? And I think that that's the concept. Not only applies to social media, but applies to so many aspects of life. It's not hard to achieve the things that you want to accomplish. It's just kind of figure out people and individuals who have already accomplished it and recreate it into yourself, because honestly, nobody could be you. And that's the beauty of all the platforms that can develop and things like that, is you're the brand, right?
Yeah.
And so overall, it was a beautiful journey that you kind of went from actually to, I mean, just being enjoying food into actually developing it into a brand. And it's really cool that you're able to develop that. And I think a lot of people don't, and honestly, our generation, you're going to see a lot of individuals who want to do exactly what you're doing. I think everyone has that little village vision where you're like, okay, I want to be an influencer. I want to go eat some tacos somewhere and do some TikToks out of everything. And like, even myself, I post on social media. Now that you follow me, you're probably like, this Justin, he's always on my page.
You're consistent,
But I do understand that aspect of it where it's like, man, I've been posting I post 2-3 times a day, and haven't grown nearly as quickly as what you've grown. So you should kind of and I guess there's a lot of different things that go into the algorithm. What are you posting? How are you posting? And 2 different aspects, right? I'm trying to market a real estate business, and you're obviously growing, you're following. What is your biggest challenges upcoming to the point that you're at right now? What did you have to kind of, and we talked a little bit about before, but what's your biggest challenges growing your channel and what you're kind of going through right now?
So, a lot of challenges. There's always like, you learn as you go, and I think one of the, I'll take it step by step. So I guess first, when I started growing, I would get all these messages, right, from businesses wanting to collaborate with me. And I was just like blown away. I was just like, wow, like all these people want to work with me. They're inviting me to come to their restaurant. And they actually, and so one of the reasons why I think it probably worked with me is because I'm a Latina, and I obviously I love supporting Latino-owned businesses, especially small businesses or just like people of color, So like that's something that I love, and that's something that's like my mission and my goal. And so I think that really resonates with a lot of, businesses, especially in Chicago. We live in a predominantly Latino, city. And so there's so many Latinos out there, so many businesses, mom and pop small businesses, and so I think for them, this was probably like a good opportunity to reach out to me and get that kind of exposure that they, need, because a lot of times these restaurants don't have, money for marketing, and so what's the next best thing? Maybe we can reach out to like potential creator that can help us out. And so I think that was one of the first things, is like I got an influx of like messages, and at first I was like, this is great. And I was trying to do every single one. And there was a time that I would be doing like 3 a day for like a whole week. And it got to like a lot. And then I was just like, okay, I need to calm down, because I'm super backed up on like editing content, because I obviously like I do my own editing and I do everything. And so like I had a lot to do. And so I learned to like kind of like take a little step back and like do what I could manage in a week. But at first it was just like that influx. And then I think over time, like you get into issues like now you have so many people reaching out to you. What are you going to do as a creator? I think I've built my audience and I've worked really hard. And this is something that I can talk and say that I've talked to other creators about, and we all kind of feel the same way, is like you reach a point where it's also like work for you. At the end of the day, people want to talk to you because they want that exposure. They want, to get those eyes, like to your followers and who you can potentially reach. So for me, it became a question of like, okay, so do I want to start charging, and do I want to start like, making profit out of this potentially? And obviously the answer is yes, because I go on TikTok and I looked at this because I was just like, I feel so bad. I feel like I'm such a nice person. I never want to charge anyone anything. I always want to do everything for free. But then if I want to make this my business, I also have to learn how to, that business aspect of it, that side of it. So that became like another internal struggle. And I talked to creators about it, and I asked, some were pretty candid with me and told me like what they charge. And everyone does it, and I think that's something people don't like talking about, because it's like people feel ashamed about talking that they get paid, because you're getting free food, right?
Right,
Isn't that your
right.
source of payment?
Right.
Yes and no, because there's so many people that are reaching out to me. I can get free food anywhere, right?
Right.
You're wanting to reach out to me because you want my, you want my audience, and obviously you like my content, and it's great. And I feel honored that you want to reach out to me and you want to work with me. But it's also like, this is my full-time job now, like this. And aside from me having my business, I'm working with other businesses for their marketing. Like, this is like a full-time job too. So I need to find a way to also make it a source of income for myself.
Right.
So that was my next struggle, is like, okay, finding out like, what am I going to charge? How am I going to communicate it in a way that it doesn't come off as rude, that I'm very too deserving of it, or something like that. So that was like another struggle, and then after that, I've gotten into a good groove of that. My next struggle is now like feeling like the pressure of posting a lot, know? And so I've taken a step back just because I am very much into like my health and my fitness and wellness. And so it's a struggle, like food, fitness.
Right.
And it's like, can you do both? Some people can say yes, and you can. But I think, from a person that came from like that was like super dedicated to fitness all their life. Like, for me, it was a struggle kind of switching that. And like all of last year, I really didn't focus a lot on fitness. And so I feel like I lost myself. And obviously eating out isn't super healthy, like eating it like 12 times a week, kind of thing. Or even though I didn't eat like the complete meals, obviously like I portioned myself out, but I'm still eating out multiple times a day, throughout the week. And so it's a struggle of like, okay, like I have to kind of give a little, take back kind of, that those requests, and like not really do as many a week in order for me to kind of feel like, okay, I need to get back into like a space of like mental, physical, wellness. And then I could kind of do this. So for me, it's been a lot of pressure, I would say, because in the foodie community, you see all these creators, they're posting like you said, like they're like 2, 3 times, 4 times a day. And here I am posting maybe once a week, now once every other week, because I'm really trying to prioritize my health and my fitness. And so it's a lot of pressure, because you see them growing and growing and growing. And I see myself just like staying flat, and I feel like I could grow if I really wanted to, because I think I have a great loyal audience and they really want to see content. But I think for me, it's a lot of pressure knowing that, other people are posting, and I feel like, I work so hard to build my audience. And if I don't post, I may lose them. And so it's always a battle. I think this is like the ongoing issue for me. It's like an internal battle of like feeling that pressure.
And I think every business owner is going to feel that though. Yeah. And I think in every business, so you could kind of relate it to everyone else, everyone has a cap and a threshold that you have to break through in order for your business to take it to the next level. So now at this point in time, obviously you want to change your lifestyle. So now you have to diversify your content to the point where you can fit your lifestyle and also fit the businesses that you have. Yeah. And I think a lot of business owners struggle with that. What fees do you charge, right? Like at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, for me in housing, I wish you don't have to bring nothing to the table with 0% interest. Like, you don't have to pay anything to buy a house, because I would love to do that. Unfortunately, that's not the nature of business, right? Like, you think of it like a Super Bowl, how much they charge just for you to have a commercial up there, right? And so that concept kind of allows you to see that your worth, your value, and there are some charges that occur because they're going to get more business out of it, right? So if you charge them $500, whatever, it might be $1,000, $10,000, I don't know what the number is, but how much business are they going to do after the videos that you produce? Yeah. So, I mean, and that's the thing, that the concept that you have to, and all business owners have to kind of see is like, yeah, people are investing in you, but I'm also going to bring forth business to you. So at the end of the day, it's not like they're losing money at all. If anything, they're probably going to double, 10x the money that they put into you, because you're bringing forth so many eyeballs. And I've heard so many stories where people like, okay, this video blew up on TikTok and they got a large influx of people just because they did a TikTok on it. Yep. And like I'm cool with a couple coffee shop owners that they started doing those flights of different coffees, and now they blew up on TikTok, and then boom, they get a bunch of different customers. So it's kind of give and take. You're charging a fee, but you're at their service, right? Yeah. And doing what's best for them. So I think the main thing for you is understanding that, but also on the other side, business, it's tough, and this is from me on my end, and I have nothing to do with social media influencing and all, none of that. But I do understand that aspect of the pressure, right? Like, at first, for me in my business, I started doing it more so of a thing, like, just because I wanted to promote my business more. But then it started taking off because it's a pretty small community in the industry that I'm in right now. at first I was just like, okay, I'm gonna post one, twice, whatever, just a couple of times a week, just so I can get my business out there. But once I started getting traction of the people that are actually in my business, I was like, oh, this is actually people know who I am, all because of the videos I'm posting. Maybe I should post more. And then I was like, okay, I'll post once a day. Now to 2 times a day, 3 times a day. And now you do see your business increasing, but you do also feel the pressure within yourself. Okay, I have to uphold this. I have to create more content. I have to figure out, and what new content do you do? Or you're like, okay, what is, I'm doing the same thing every time. Do people enjoy that? Do they not? Like, there's so many like social anxiety that people don't really can understand until you're actually doing it. Because we make it look easy. And that's the other aspect of social media is I love it. I love social media, but at the same time, all we show is a very small picture of what our day-to-day looks like. And that picture usually is a good picture. So no one sees the 95% of the rest of the day. That's the bad picture. And that's the beauty and the curse of social media, is that there's not a lot of people that show the actual bad side of life. And I don't think that it's bad to talk about it, because at least at the end of the day, people could kind of understand that life is life. You know, no matter what job you're doing, whatever you're doing, there's always going to be some sort of unhappiness, but it's how you're going to break through those barriers when they come up. And do you kind of see your next chapter and evolving on that end? Do you see yourself outside of Donutmamii, but like more so of your lifestyle videos, more so of who you are, and just kind of getting your audience to get a little deeper on who you are? Yeah, that's what you
yeah, no, I do want to, and that's something that I've been trying to do for the past few months, is really branch out. I know my name, Donutmamii, obviously there's food in it, you know, but I think it's a name that could potentially be for anything else. So I don't want to limit myself to just food. I definitely want to incorporate more of things that I love, you know, like whether it's eating healthy, whether it's doing whatever kind of activity outside, or promoting like whatever, you know, like my experiences. I want it to be more encompassing of that, like just like my life and experiences. And so, and something really cool that I saw for like trends this year is like vlogging is back. You know, people really want to see like the day-to-day, like your life, you know, especially if you have like a great loyal audience. So I think TikTok is a really good platform for that. So I'm going to try experimenting with TikTok a little bit. I don't know if you've caught up with, what's her name? Risa Tisa? No. So she, well, you could look her up on TikTok, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. But she basically kind of like broke TikTok in terms of like what everyone's doing right now. She uploaded like a 50-part, or not more now, I don't know, 50-part series of like, who the F did I marry? I don't know if I can curse it.
No, I agree. You're fine.
So she did a 50-part series where she like talks about her experience of getting to know and marry this like pathological liar. He was lying to her the whole time, like ever since they met to like when they got married and whatever. So like it was like, it's like it leaves on cliffhangers, and like each episode or each series, part of the series is like 10 minutes long, and like there's 50 of them. So like last night I binged like 12 of them. So like it's like things like that, like people talking about their lives. It's people like that, you know, people find it interesting. I think it's like because of commonalities, and you know that we may experience, you know, with these people, like, oh, they're going through that, I went through that, you know. So like I just want to start doing more things like that that'll be more focused on like me sharing my experience. And something that I do want to say, I think you touched upon it later on, is like, for me, I really like being transparent. And I think maybe that's something that sets me apart from a lot of other people, because I feel like no one really likes talking about certain issues, I think. And for me, I use like my Instagram stories, for example, like to talk about how I'm feeling, or talk about like, you know, like I think you talked about earlier, me talking about the pressure of social media. So for me, I'm very vocal and I'm very transparent when it comes to these things. I don't think I've seen too many people, and I don't know if it's because they're scared to talk about it, or if they don't know how to talk about it, or they just don't want to talk about it. But for me, I really like being transparent in that sense, and talking about what I'm going through, you know, what issues I'm going through, or like, you know, things that I'm thinking about. So I think it's really good to be transparent on social media. And so I've been transparent about wanting to branch out to like more lifestyle stuff. So people have been really supportive about that. So we'll see how it goes.
And it's tough. It's a tough concept to talk about for any influencer or any person that's actually on social media, because at the end of the day, you're going to get so much judgment. And again, judgment at what is the value of judgment? There is no value. Like when people talk about you, I mean, at the end of the day, they can talk all they want, but you kind of determine what the value of whatever those people are commenting saying. But obviously at the end of the day, you know, people are gonna be like, well, you're an influencer, that's an easy job, I love your job, I wish I could have your job, you shouldn't be complaining about you know, like I already know that's probably what people would say. But at the end of the day, what are you gonna make of it? You know, like if you're gonna take and give that value, I like to think of social media and the people that comment on the things that I post or whatever. I don't take the positive, I don't take the negative. I just post. You know, at the end of the day, if I get a lot of engagement, for me, obviously it's your job, so it's a little bit more needs. You have to have engagement, but I don't like to take either positive or negative things because at the end of the day, for me, I like to take it for face value for what it is. I'm trying to get business out of it.
Yeah.
And the more you focus on how much positive you're coming in or how much negative is coming in, then you're going to kind of drive yourself crazy because you're like, okay, there's so many negative comments coming in, or why am I not getting as many positive comments as I did before? And that's where you're going to kind of drive yourself into a cycle. And it's a tough rat race that you're kind of getting yourself into. But what was your biggest struggle? Because I know that this is another thing.
Yeah.
When you're posting on social media, especially for older generations that don't really understand the concept of it, was that a struggle for you and your family or friends that were kind of like, you're doing social media as a job? Like, is that really a job? Can you get paid? Or, like, was that something that you had to go through?
Yeah, I did. And it's becoming more a thing now. But so luckily I'm able to reference and point to like successful people.
Yeah.
But like even then, it is a struggle coming from obviously a Latino background. They're like, what the heck is this? You know, they're used to you being like a lawyer, a doctor, name, you know, like things like that, you know? So yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle because I majored in media and communications and I kind of had like a path of like marketing that I always wanted to be in marketing, and I've done that professionally, but then all of a sudden like I'm switching to something that's like social media. They're like, what is that, you know? And then they're like, isn't it just like stuff, videos and whatever? Like, well, how is that anything that you studied, you know? Like, I think there's like that correlation, like, okay, you go to school, you do this, you get a job. You don't go to school, do this, and then just do social media. So it was a struggle at the beginning, especially with my parents. I think they're the ones that really, you know, I'm the youngest. I'm the first one to go to college. And so, like, they have all these expectations for me. And I think they've seen now because I involve them a lot in my process. So, like, whenever I go out to a food place, my mom is with me, you know. You know, I take her there and I have her experience these things. And my dad, maybe once in a while because he doesn't want to, but my mom loves it, you know. And so, like, I try to incorporate my family, too. I bring my brother, my sister, my best friends, my nieces and nephews, whoever I can, so they can see as much of a part of like what I'm doing and be a part of it. And they really like it now and they understand it, and so they're fully supportive of it. But those first like few months where I was getting into it, and you know, it was like my full-time job. I had left my previous job at an agency and I started my own LLC. That's when I started my LLC, and then I started doing this too because at that same time, like this took off, like my social media took off too. So I was doing both, and it was a struggle. It was it was tough. You know, at the beginning. What was
the hardest part about, or what was the biggest struggle that you had to go through?
I mean, just money. Like it was hard. It was hard making money. It was hard finding clients. But I would say one of the positive things about doing, you know, foodie stuff and, you know, creating content is that you meet business owners. And so I was able to market myself to business owners, you know, or they would even just ask like, so what do you do on the side, you know, or what's your job? And I'm like, well, actually, you know, I have my business. I help, you know, restaurants like yourself, you know, with social media marketing. They're like, oh, really? Can we talk more about that? We're actually looking for somebody. So it's always, it's a great opportunity, you know, to network with these business owners, or you never know who you're going to see or talk to when you're at these places, at these restaurants or businesses. And so I take advantage of it and I market myself. And, you know, even if they're not looking for someone, I give them my information, and who knows, maybe in the future they might look for me or for someone else, you know. So so yeah.
So for somebody that's kind of getting into the field that you're doing right now, whether it be marketing for other small business owners or anything of that nature, what piece of advice would you give through being that you went through the struggles that you did for the first couple months? What would you give someone that's getting into the business for their first couple months to kind of fast track them to avoid any struggles that you had to go through?
Wow. Yeah. I would say first have a clear vision for what you want to do. But I would say don't limit yourself to that vision. I would say be open to expand, or to kind of like, you know, take it wherever it goes, because just like me, obviously like my food content blew up, so I went on that direction. But obviously like life happens, and you know, maybe you want to try new things or experiment with new things. So feel free to like, you know, kind of just maneuver your way through that. But I would say first and foremost, have a clear, you know, idea of what you want to do. What's going to be your mission? What's going to be your focus? You know, because I think if you don't have that, then you're just going to be doing all these different things. I think, you know, you need to find what works for you. So if that doesn't work for you, then maybe you do something else.
When I was growing up, the big thing was like, okay, I want to make video games. Like that was, I want to create video games. And I think as people grow older, they kind of see these podcasts. They see a lot of people posting content. They see the Logan Pauls of the world with Impulsive and all these things that have grown to the point where, you know, now this is their job and their lifestyle. They can use social media to actually fund their life. So what would be the biggest piece of advice, like starting up? Obviously you said that there were some struggles, and obviously you want to have a plan, like you kind of touched on, but what would be your piece of advice for individuals who actually seriously want to get into this, even though their family might be like, okay, this is not a job, it's not serious? What would be your piece of advice to kind of like dive in and make sure you take it serious, so that way they can actually build a career from it?
Yeah. So I think, like I said, first, obviously have a plan. But and if you're serious, obviously, if you're serious, you're gonna have a plan.
Right.
So I would say, don't give up so easily, because it's not all, sunshine and roses and flowers.
Right.
Like, there is gonna be struggle. You are gonna struggle, and I would say, don't be discouraged for the lack of engagement or things like that. I feel like you need to keep on trying, and I would say try for, over the course of maybe a few months, maybe like give it like 3 or 4 months and see how your content is doing with that kind of initial vision. And if it's not going the way that you would like it to go, maybe try to see what can you do, And I think one of the greatest pieces of advice is do your research too, find out, okay, if you're going to be into like food, like for me, if I'm in that industry, what are people doing, or what kind of content are people engaging with in terms of food? Go on Instagram, search up hashtags Chicago food, or go on TikTok, do the same thing. See what kind of videos are engaging to other people, what kind of videos they like, and kind of try to, again, like we talked about before, draw inspiration from them, not really copy it, find ways to make it your own, but draw inspiration from that. I think that's one of the biggest things, is always do research, always look at, what are people actually engaging with? What do people care about, And I think as you continue to produce more and more content, you're really going to understand who your audience is, what kind of posts do best to get the most engagement. And I think it's always just important to always listen to your audience and see what kind of content is resonating, right? Because you're not going to want to replicate content that really is not giving you any kind of engagement. You're going to want to look at content that's performing well and you're doing really good at it, whatever it is, and try to mimic that, and have like a template like that, so you can use that constantly for like future content.
And do you guys have like an influence? Obviously, you got your group chat. Do you guys have like influencer events, like where you guys all meet up and obviously do influencer things, whatever that is?
Yeah, we do. So it depends. I actually sometimes host it too, because I work with influence. I work with like businesses, and I have like influencer friends or creator friends. That word is used like
creators, whatever.
Influencers. So I don't know. So we have like events from time to time, and I think one of the things that is pretty common, at least here in Chicago, but I'm sure everywhere else too in the foodie space, is that, like a lot of influencers are like associated with restaurants too. They actually do marketing for restaurants. So a lot of the times since they do the marketing, they do events for, like creators too. And so, there's always like something going on. There's always invitations going on. And that's like one of those other things too, like aside from like the messages that I get from restaurants, there's always like invites on my email from like all these grand openings to like, special events, celebrations for whatever. So there's always like events. And I think I don't go to all of them. I'm pretty selective of which ones I go to, but the ones that I do, I make sure that it's meaningful in the sense that it's something that's going to provide me value, being with like, the right group of people that I want to associate myself with, supporting the right business. And so it really depends, but I think it's a really good place to network with these creators too.
And that's why the reason why I brought that up was because the main thing that I like to kind of focus, and as we kind of spoke a little bit about, is networking, right? And like the more people that you meet, the bigger your network is, the more likely your business will succeed. And I think that for you in your case, right, like when you meet influencers, whether it be an influencer, an actor, a successful individual in your industry, I think the more people that you meet of that caliber, like that are successful in whatever you're trying to do, the more you kind of see life as their goals and the things you want to accomplish is obtainable, right? Like, and the more people that you can actually experience that are influencer creators, whoever that are doing the things that you want to do. For me, in my eyes, when I meet people and I'm like, they're human, like, okay, I thought they were all the way up here, but like they're like right here with me. And what that gives you motivation, that allows you to kind of drive you to be like, okay, I can do what they're doing, and I don't have to, I can mimic what they're doing, but in my own sense of style, in my way, because not anybody's just Rodrigo, not everybody's Genesis, right? So as long as you're able to recreate it in your own way, that's what really, in reality, that's what's going to drive you. Because I think motivation for me was the one thing that when I got into my industry, I met people, and there's no shade being thrown, but at the same time, I'm like, how are these people like the top of the top. They're human. Like I thought they were someone a lot. They're gonna do something and drop some knowledge to me that I thought nobody knew, and there was a book that they had to read in order for you to achieve these things. But it's not. It's in reality they're just hustling every day. They have the discipline to, in your case, post every day, to go to the restaurants, do the things that people are doing. And as long as let's say you did a restaurant a day, guarantee you're probably doing more than what half of the people that are actually doing it, because they've already made it. So at the end of the day, the grind to the top is going to be something that you have to accomplish and achieve and do every single day, regardless of whatever career field that you want to get to. And then once you make it to a certain point where you're at the top of the mountain, where you're like, okay, this is where I envision myself, but how do I get higher? Now you have to break the threshold. Now you got to, figure out your own ways to grow even higher. And sometimes that means that networking with even bigger influencers, even bigger creators, and just breaking through that threshold that you never really thought yourself would get to, because you were just trying to get here. And now you're like, oh shit, I'm already here. Now it's time to go even higher. So for you, do you see yourself starting to get to that point where you want to network with individuals? Not that the people that you're networking right now are beneath you in any sense of mean, but you want to get even larger and bigger. Have you seen that in your life right now, where you want to try to expand to the point where now you could break through even bigger to where you're at right now?
I do. Yeah, no, that's something that, of course, like that would be a great opportunity, to surround myself with like-minded individuals who have that passion for, like for growing, financially, personally, everything. I think I always want to surround myself with those kind of people. And so, I definitely, I'd be open to it. I know there's some exciting opportunities that I'm getting this year.
Nice.
So I'm really excited. I can't say because it's still like, pending some things, but there's some exciting opportunities. So like, I think the more I get like these kind of like, I don't want to say high caliber, but like these, I don't even know.
Larger creators, or is it business owners, or
no, just opportunities to work with like large brands and like things like that. I think it'll help me be a little bit more well-rounded and connect me to more people. Again, that's about like expanding, not just being food focused. And so like, I think doing this would be great, because I'll be inserted into like a larger pool of other content creators who are doing other things, bigger things potentially. So so I really like what you said though about like, when you meet a creator or like someone, an influencer, and you're like, oh, they're real people. Like, I think that's something that I've learned with meeting like fellow creators, is that, everyone goes through a lot of the struggles that I go through, if not maybe more, too. And so it's the people that I've met, I've been really fortunate, because they've been really nice and really open and transparent about their experiences. And I really like, the friendships that I've created with these people, because I think, we really lean on each other for like support. And if I have a question about like, oh, I did this collaboration or this partnership with this place or this business, did you work with them? Have you had a similar experience? So I think it's really helpful, in that kind of sense, of having that network of people that are doing the same thing that you are, because you can bounce, ideas, or bounce like, experiences, and really help each other. So that's something that, no one doesn't go without struggling, I think, in the creator world. And so it's nice seeing that, people go through real life struggles, and it's a part of it.
And I think a common theme, which I love about your story, the funny part, and it's ironic, is individuals who see the things that you're doing right now might be like, man, I wish I had her life. I want to go out to restaurants and I want to eat food. I want to have the struggles that she has. At the same time, you got to look at it for face value and have perspective, where you're like, all right, I do have a pretty nice, I have it pretty nice. I'm not working at a factory 50 hours a week. I'm eating nice food. But I will say, you think that, but then when you're actually living it, you're like, fuck. Like, for me, a lot of mine is entertainment. My business is entertainment, right? I get, from my referral partners, people that we go out to dinners, we do things to try to obviously generate more business or just build better relationships, because for me, a lot of my business is relationship based. So we might go on dinners, sometimes you do 2 dinners a week, 3 dinners a week, and you're going to these nice places, and I'm not trying to sound like anything like I'm too, but after a certain point, you're like, do I want to go to dinner today? Like, I just want to go home. I want to eat a fucking taco. That's it. I want to go home. I want to eat a taco with some de carne asada, and that's it. I want to go to sleep. That's it. But a lot of times, you gotta drink, socialize. And that's a part of the nature of the business. And people who are not in the industry will never understand that. Like, damn, do I really want to go to dinner today? Do I really want to go out? No one really understands that portion of it, because obviously it looks good, right? You should put it on social media, but maybe you're tired. Maybe your social media is at 0 right now, and you really don't want to do it, but you got to give yourself the pep talk and be like, all right, this is my job. All right, we got to go. You got to go. So
you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, because I think yes to all of that. And for me, it's very hard to find myself taking a break. I think that's something that's like another pressure. It's like, because I can maybe potentially take a break from social media, but really I can't, because I work with other businesses to manage their social media. So I never have an off day, you know. I can never, unless, you know, I stop, you know, I do, I guess, a vacation.
Right.
But
Right.
for me, I can never do like a social media detox completely, because it's such a part of my life that it's very hard to do a social media detox. And back then I would be able to, and I'd go on like a month without using social media and it'd be great. But then now I can't really do that. So I have to find ways to, like, you know, like give myself space and not put that much pressure on myself. And so that's why I kind of like spread things out now and manage my time better. But yeah, it's a lot.
I'm in the same boat. Like, I mean, social media is such a center point of my business because people, I stay on people's minds because I post so much. So it's tough to where, like, even when you go on vacation or anything like that, like, my phone on vacation for me isn't something that I could just turn off. Now, outside of social media, it's just phone calls, text messages, all those things are something that it's hard for you to disconnect. And again, to your point, I love what I do. So I can't imagine a life where I just completely turn off, because I do truly do. I have a love and passion for what I do. So on a daily basis, you know, I tell myself, okay, I'm going to shut my phone off at this time. I'm going to do this, da, da, da. And it's tough. It's tough to truly, like, and even when I do it, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do the next day. So it's like I try and disconnect, but in reality, dude, I could dream about what I'm doing because that's how much I have a passion and a love for what I do. But I do understand that aspect of it, of trying to shut down, trying to completely cut off the things that you're currently doing, your job, but it's hard to do so. But do you envision right now what you're doing in your happy life? Is what you envision as a happy life, or what is your vision of a happy life?
I have a lot of visions. It's funny. I mean, I have all these aspirations, right? Things that I want to do. Like,
that's good though.
Yeah. I mean, I have, you know, like this, obviously I would like to keep on doing this, because I think, you know, I would like to see how far I can take it and see, you know, for now, I feel like that's something I want to continue. We'll see, you know, a few years down the line if that's how I still feel. But for now, I still feel like, you know, that's something I would like to continue. I also want to continue to expand my business too, maybe make it like a social media agency, you know. And for me, my dream is to have it all be Latinas, you know, working at the agency, and, you know, us being some boss ass bitches, you know, like I want that. But then again, another part of me is like, I want to open up my own donut shop too.
Right,
you know?
right.
I already have the name for it too. So like, I'm already kind of like thinking about like future business. So like, those three things are like goals for mine to continue to build. And so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think they're all, some reason, like they're all intertwined though. I think they all play off of each other.
Right. And I think that the beautiful part of it is that you open your own business and things like that. But outside of the business realm, do you feel as if your happy life is within business, or do you feel as if, do you think that I'm talking about like in the future? Because for me, my happy life, I don't think I'm ever retire. If I'm being honest, I don't think I'm gonna retire. I love work. I love what I do, and I don't think that maybe not mortgages, maybe like real estate development. To your point, I want to open a coffee shop. I want to get into real estate development. I want to do a bunch of different things that I could see myself doing at some point. But I have a hard time understanding what my happy life is, because my mind is always on 24/7 go. I'm always like, I'll be at the gym and I'm like, okay, what do I got to do? Do I got to flip a house right now? Do I got to buy another apartment building? Or do I got to close more loans? What do I have to do? And I always had that I don't know what I want. I really don't. And I think that's the beauty of my life, is like, I don't know, but that's what keeps the never ending chase for me, is I'm always on the go and I don't know what I want. But for you, do you think that work is going to be a part of your happy life, or do you feel like you want to get to the point where you don't have to work no more? It's good, right?
It's a good question. I mean, to be honest, I'm like on the same boat as you. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, again, like I said, like I have all these aspirations and things that I want, but they're all connected to work, right? So like, I don't know. I've never thought about my life without work.
Right.
So I don't. I mean, ideally, you know, I guess that would be like, that's everyone's end goal, right? Is to like work so hard right now and reap the benefits later, right? Like you'll finally have a life where like, okay, now I can relax, now I can like live peacefully, do, you know, whether it's with my family, a significant other, or whatever, you know. Like, so I mean, I guess I would like to be happy like that in the end, like have a, you know, successful life and then just relax and enjoy my time later on. But I don't know, I feel like I just like have a work mentality always.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
so hard. It's so hard. Yeah.
Right. What would you do? I know you're really big into Latino community, which I love. I love. So for you, what piece of advice would you give to Latinas that are obviously maybe in some cases, in some occupations, they might feel like, they have a little bit of a disadvantage. So what advice would you give to them to completely grow to the way that you're doing right now?
Just in general, like for their
Yeah.
like for
Yeah.
business. I would say again, like don't limit yourself, don't limit your capabilities. I think as Latina women, we a lot of times, especially like we doubt ourselves, and we don't know, we don't trust that we're able to do more than we can. And I think that's something really important that why women should actually stick together and support each other. Is
Yeah.
like it's important to have support systems. It's important to have people who tell you like you can do so and so. This is how you open up a business. This is how you can take out a loan. This is how you can do all
Yeah.
these things. And I think it's important to have women like this. And for me, I do this occasionally too with like other creators who ask me like, what should I be doing that are just starting off? Like I'll do like one-on-one meets with them, and I'll like to say like, hey, you need to do this, or have you done this? You should have a contract for this, and like I like teaching people, and I like doing like those like one-on-one sessions with people. So I think it's important. I would say find help, find a support system. There's so many people that are experienced in so many different things. I would say continue to grow your support system. Find people that can help you, that can motivate you, that will inspire you. I think that's just one of the biggest things. I have a great support system. I have great friends that always support me. I have one that's like, I joke around. She's like my manager, like my financial advisor, my everything, because I'm kind of like a softie, but she's very like firm business oriented.
Right.
So she's always like, I always go to her for advice. And my other friend, she's very like content driven. So I always go to her for content support. And then I have a friend that does accounting. So she also is kind of like financial,
Yeah.
so like it's good to have a support system. I would say if you're going to start off, I would say find the people that you need to network with to be able that'll be able to help you grow.
Right. And I tell people all the time, your net worth is only as good as your network. And that's at the end of the day, that's what's really going to drive your business to the next level in any industry.
Yeah.
It really does. I went out of college, right? I got into this industry while I was in college, and social media is the sole reason why has driven me to become to where I'm at. Like I would not be nowhere near where I'm at without social media. And that's why I tell people, and I push it so heavily, that in order for you to be successful in the industry, you got to be on social media, especially in this new day and age. That's the bare minimum fact. You have to be on social media. And I think that you're doing an amazing job leveraging it to where you're going to the business. And I do appreciate the fact that you're kind of speaking about something that I think everyone should talk about, which is utilizing your network, utilizing the Latino community. Like we should come together and be able to help each other grow in different ways. There's enough food on the table for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's going to be able to eat at the end of the day. And if you're only going to be sharing it to yourself, at the end of the day, you're going to fall. Like that's just the nature of business overall. So helping other people grow and expand is only going to not only make yourself feel good, because you're going to see other individuals grow, but also at the same time, you're going to be growing in the process of it. And so I do think that when you get into the whole social media realm and things like that, don't fall into the traps of the world, because it's easy to fall into societal things that will bring you down as a person. But again, if you surround yourself with the right people, you have the right network, it's a lot easier for you to be able to grow. So I really do appreciate all the advice that you give. But now the last question that we will have is, do you have any last remarks in regards to growing a business, growing your social media, for anybody that's looking to do so? If you had to give it one piece of advice, what would you give right now?
Just don't give up on your passions. I would say do it. And like people say, fake it till you make it. Well, yeah, like you have to be that person that believes in yourself. If you're passionate about something, go for it, and if it doesn't work out, then you'll find something else maybe that still aligns with like your passions. But I would say never give up on your passions.
I love it. Well, Genesis, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed this content. And if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications on this video. More importantly, hope you had your cafecito. Hope you enjoyed the content. Have a great day.